Hello there viewers, joining us live on your television screens and on our social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook. This is Tigrai Television and I'm Tigrai. Huge number of civilians are fleeing Shura following the occupation of the town by Ethiopian forces and their allies on Monday. In a statement earlier today, Tigray Central Command said that Tigrayan forces have withdrawn from Shura following intense aerial attacks and artillery shelling targeting the civilian population in town. The command called upon the international community to take all necessary measures to ensure the withdrawal of Eritrean forces from Tigrayan territories to avert horrific humanitarian catastrophe in Ethiopia and the Horn. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk warns of devastating impacts of airstrikes on the civilian population in Tigray. In a press release this afternoon, Turk said the toll on civilian casualties from airstrikes and shelling in Tigray was completely staggering. Avid Zagab reports.
In a press release on Tuesday, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk said since August 31, Eritrean forces and allies have conducted airstrikes and artillery shelling on different parts of Tigray, causing the deaths of numerous civilians, including humanitarian aid workers, and the destruction of civilian property. The High Commissioner said the toll on civilians is utterly staggering. Even the blockade on Tigray has made it impossible to verify the exact number of casualties. He also stressed on the need to ensure accountability for human rights and humanitarian law violations, noting that the attack on civilians amount to war crimes under international law. The High Commissioner also called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and worked towards a peaceful and lasting solution to the deadliest conflict. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Monday has also warned of increasing attack on civilians and called for immediate cessation of hostilities and the withdrawal of Eritrean forces from Ethiopia.
The situation in Ethiopia is spiraling out of control. Violence and destruction have reached alarming levels. The social fabric is being ripped apart. Hostilities in the Tigray region of Ethiopia must end now, including the immediate withdrawal and disengagement of Eritrean armed forces from Ethiopia. There is no military solution. Civilians are paying a horrific price. Indiscriminate attacks, including in residential areas, are killing more innocent people every day, damaging critical infrastructure and limiting access to vital services. Hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to flee their homes since hostilities resumed in August, many of them for the second time. And we are also hearing disturbing accounts of sexual violence and other acts of brutality against women, children and men. All parties must adhere to their obligations under international humanitarian law.
African Union, European Union and other regional and international organizations have also expressed their concern and called upon an immediate cessation of hostilities until it was rejected by Ethiopian government in a statement on Monday.
Tigray University Scholars Association TUSA wrote an open letter to the United Nations Secretary Council, United Nations Secretary General, the African Union and the European Union on Monday calling for an immediate action to bring an end to the war on Tigray. The association also called on the international community to do its part in ensuring unfettered humanitarian access into the region.
Tigray University Scholars Association calls on the international community to take a firm action to end the catastrophe taking place in Tigray, following resumption of the war around the end of August. In a letter sent to the United Nations Security Council, United Nations Secretary General, African Union and European Union on Monday, the association reiterated its disappointment that the international community remained idle despite the atrocities on civilians taking place in different parts of Tigray, such as in Tsalimo and Adyabo. They also said the shelling and aerial attacks in Adi Daro, Shira, Rama and other towns in Tigray have brought horrific devastations on civilians and their properties. The association also added that the resumption of the war also meant that children will be out of school for an additional third year as they have stopped education since the outbreak of COVID-19, which also means no salary for civil servants. The association finally urged the international community to uphold its commitment to the motto against crimes of humanity in saying never again to the genocide taking place in Tigray, and added that it believes the organizations have the duty to help restart negotiations and allow unfettered humanitarian access into the region.
Victims of shelling in Tigray say they are unable to access medical treatment due to the siege that has blocked the delivery of medical supplies into Tigray. Health professionals in Tigray hospital also state many that could have been saved were losing their lives. Let's take a look.
I don't remember much, but I believe my daughter was cleaning within the compound. I was at the doorstep of my shop. My 18-year-old daughter passed away instantly, and I was heavily injured. All our property had been completely destroyed. My niece died when she was at home with her child due to the shelling. Her house is completely destroyed.
احنا قد تأكيونا مسح سرحنا مسح كنا مسح ساعات أخيرا كنا مسحنا حسينا نيرنا قد أمجن زي حسونا يو أب مأخل جزانا مأخل مونورينا جونوسايد تفتي من.
The shelling took place while we were gathered to eat lunch. It hit our home and destroyed everything.
Although I got admitted to the hospital due to the injuries I have gotten from the shelling, I couldn't get any medication or treatment. The attacks clearly targeted civilians, saying that children and elderly were the victims of the attack. What is the international community doing?
It has been weeks and attacks were being conducted continuously. They targeted civilians. Civilians with heavy injuries have been admitted to our hospital. Many of them consist of children, mothers, and the elderly. They haven't gotten any medication or medical treatment since they were admitted here, as there are no medical supplies. Therefore, many who could be saved are prone to death. The international community needs to take immediate action. Semen Health Center in Maqala said it is no longer able to provide antenatal care to mothers. The health center announced that it had been forced to stop providing services to lactating mothers and pregnant mothers due to the blockade on medical supplies, pushing the lives of hundreds of children and mothers to the brink. Our reporter Abraha Gabratinsay has more.
These are pregnant mothers who are looking for antenatal care service to make sure their pregnancy remains healthy. But they say they couldn't get the service they have been looking for, as the health center has depleted every medicine it had before.
I am called Sauda Marcus. I have come here for a checkup of my pregnancy, but there are no laboratory and ultrasound services here. They told us to take our problems to private clinics. I am called Kadamawit Haile. I have pregnancy follow-up, but I could not get the service I want due to the siege. There is no laboratory, no ultrasound, and there is not even an iron tablet. We are told to get all services outside, but we can't afford the cost in private clinics.
Sister Helen Gebrakidan is a nurse who is in charge of the midwifery unit, working particularly at the delivery ward at Semen Health Center, and she says the clinic is no longer able to provide antenatal care service. And she says mothers who are in need of the service are unable to get it, as the health center has run out of medicines such as oxytocin and necessary medical equipment like ultrasound and x-ray machines following the ongoing siege and blockade.
Our staff personnel are trying to help mothers, but due to the war and blockade, our service provision has been severely deteriorated compared to previous years. There is no medicine and medical equipment. Particularly, our medicine stock has been totally depleted. We've run out of oxytocin, a medicine that helps stop maternal bleeding during delivery. We haven't got it for more than 6 months now.
Sister Helen also says the health center couldn't be able to provide proper antenatal care for pregnant mothers, as it has run out of essential medical supplies, including medicine and medical equipment.
With regard to our follow-up of pregnant mothers, we're trying to provide healthcare service based on our professional knowledge. But our effort remains in vain, as there are no medicines and laboratories to check up the pregnant mothers' all-rounded chemistry, including blood pressure, blood type, liver function test, sexually transmitted infections, kidney, and others that are worth checking during pregnancy to avoid complications. Unfortunately, we don't have the laboratory due to the blockade, and mothers are being exposed to severe complications and are going through defective birth and different abnormalities.
The health worker also added that the health center is faced with challenges in providing nutritional consultation to pregnant mothers, as the mothers do not have anything to eat at home.
ካውንስል ትገብረ እንተለና ብዛዕባ ኒትሪሽን ወይ ብዛዕባ ውሕስ ምግቢ ብጣዕሚ ቻሌንጅ ልገብረ
It is really challenging when it comes to counseling mothers regarding nutrition. We used to provide the same counseling service before, and they used to feed themselves accordingly. However, at present, the mothers cry when you tell them to eat the food type they are required because they know at heart they don't have anything to eat at home. Obviously, nutrition is basic for pregnant mothers, but Tigrayan mothers are in a dire situation. It hurts a lot.
Health centers in Tigray had played pivotal role in providing antenatal care for mothers and in fostering the prevention-based health policies that brought massive improvement on maternal and child health in the region before the war. However, now, the ongoing war and the subsequent siege and blockade have put the health centers out of provision as they are left without medicine and medical equipment.
That wraps up the news for the hour. Thank you for tuning in.